Golden Sunset Manor looked like retirement paradise. Luxury condos, gourmet dining, and endless activities. What they didn't advertise was the systematic financial exploitation that trapped residents and slowly drained their life savings. I'm Dorothy, and this is how my dream retirement became a financial prison. I'm sitting in an FBI field office in Phoenix, surrounded by boxes of evidence that prove Golden Sunset Manor wasn't a retirement community. It was a criminal enterprise designed to systematically rob elderly people. The federal agents are explaining how my luxury retirement home was actually the headquarters of a $50 million elder fraud operation that targeted hundreds of seniors across 5 states. Mrs. Patterson, you and 247 other residents were victims of what we call institutional elder financial abuse. Agent Martinez explains, showing me charts that map the money flow from resident accounts to offshore shell companies. Golden Sunset Manor was a front for one of the largest retirement community fraud schemes we've ever investigated. The financial statements spread across the conference table tell a story I'm still struggling to accept. In 22 months at Golden Sunset Manor, I lost $420,000. My entire life savings, my house equity, my investment accounts, and even my late husband's pension benefits. But the worst part isn't the money I lost. It's realizing that everything I thought was care was actually theft. Everything I believed was community was actually conspiracy, and everyone I trusted was actually criminal. But let me take you back to where this beautiful nightmare began, because every paradise has a snake. And some snakes wear business suits and call themselves retirement counselors. It was January 2022 when I first visited Golden Sunset Manor in Scottsdale, Arizona. At 71, I was struggling to maintain my large Phoenix home after my husband Ralph passed away. The house felt too big, the responsibilities too overwhelming, and the loneliness too crushing. I needed a change, a fresh start. A place where I could enjoy my golden years without worrying about home, maintenance, cooking, or being alone. The Golden Sunset Manor website painted a picture of retirement perfection. Luxury condominiums with mountain views, gourmet dining prepared by professional chefs, fitness centers with personal trainers, libraries, art studios, and social activities that would keep residents engaged and happy. The testimonials from current residents were glowing, and the photo galleries showed smiling seniors enjoying what looked like permanent vacation. "Welcome to your new life, Mrs. Patterson," said Victoria Sterling, the community's director of resident services, as she gave me the grand tour. At Golden Sunset Manor, we believe retirement should be the best time of your life. No more worries about cooking, cleaning, home maintenance, or financial management. We handle everything so you can focus on enjoying yourself. The facilities were indeed impressive. The main building looked like a 5-star resort, with marble floors, crystal chandeliers, and artwork that belonged in a museum. My potential apartment was spacious and elegant, with a mountain view that took my breath away. The dining room served restaurant-quality meals, and the activity schedule was packed with interesting classes and social events. Our residents love the peace of mind that comes with full-service living, Victoria explained as we toured the facilities. Once you join our community, you never have to worry about bills, investments, insurance, or any of those tedious financial details again. Our business office handles everything. That phrase, "we handle everything," should have been my first warning. But at the time, it sounded like freedom from the responsibilities that had overwhelmed me since Ralph's death. The entry fee was substantial, $350,000 for what they called a lifetime care membership. This fee would guarantee me an apartment, all meals, housekeeping, maintenance, healthcare coordination, and financial management services for the rest of my life. Think of it as buying peace of mind, Victoria said when I expressed concern about the large upfront payment. You'll never have another housing expense. Never worry about rising costs. Never face the uncertainty of aging. It's the smartest investment you can make in your future. The contract was 47 pages long, filled with legal terminology that was difficult to understand. Victoria assured me that it was standard language protecting both the community and its residents. Our legal team has perfected these agreements over 20 years, she said. Everything is designed to ensure you receive the care and services you're paying for. You're not just buying a place to live. You're buying guaranteed security for the rest of your life. I should have had the contract reviewed by an independent attorney, but Victoria discouraged outside legal consultation. Our contracts are specifically designed for retirement community living, she explained. Outside attorneys often don't understand our industry and can create unnecessary delays or complications. I signed the contract and transferred $350,000 from my investment accounts to Golden Sunset Manor. It represented most of my liquid assets, but I told myself it was an investment in my happiness and security. The first 6 months at Golden Sunset Manor were everything the brochure had promised. My apartment was comfortable, the food was excellent, and I made friends with other residents who seemed genuinely happy with their decision to join the community. "Best decision I ever made," said my neighbor Eleanor, an 83-year-old former teacher who had lived at Golden Sunset for 3 years. I wish I'd moved here sooner. No more worries, no more stress, just enjoying life. The social activities were engaging and well organized. I took watercolor painting classes, joined the book club, participated in fitness programs, and attended lectures on topics ranging from history to gardening. For the first time in years, I felt socially connected and intellectually stimulated. But the first red flag appeared when I tried to access my remaining investment accounts to make some charitable donations. My financial advisor informed me that Golden Sunset Manor had been given power of attorney over all my financial affairs as part of the residency agreement. I don't agree to that, I told Victoria when I asked about the power of attorney arrangement. It's standard practice in continuing care retirement communities, she explained smoothly. We need financial oversight authority to ensure residents don't make decisions that might jeopardize their ability to pay for their care. It's protection for both you and the community. The explanation seemed reasonable, but I was uncomfortable with the extent of control Golden Sunset had gained over my finances. When I asked to review my accounts, Victoria suggested that financial details were unnecessarily stressful for residents to manage. That's exactly why you moved here, she reminded me. To stop worrying about money and start enjoying life. Our financial team handles everything professionally and efficiently. The second red flag was when I noticed that several residents who had lived at Golden Sunset for more than 5 years seemed to have very little spending money for personal expenses or family gifts. Where did all your money go? I asked my friend Harold, a retired engineer who had moved to Golden Sunset before me but seemed unable to afford basic personal items. The community manages my finances now, he said with resignation. They say my accounts are being optimized for long-term care needs. I don't really understand the details anymore. When I pressed him for specifics, Harold seemed confused about his financial situation and vaguely mentioned that his money was being invested wisely by Golden Sunset's financial team. The third red flag was when my daughter Susan tried to visit me for the first time since I'd moved to Golden Sunset Manor. The community's policies made it difficult for family members to have private time with residents. All family visits must be supervised by our staff to ensure resident safety and comfort, Victoria explained when Susan complained about the restrictions. We find that unsupervised visits can sometimes upset residents or expose them to family financial pressures. Susan was suspicious of the visiting restrictions and the financial arrangements I'd agreed to. Mom, this doesn't sound right, she said during one of our monitored conversations. Why can't we talk privately? Why can't you access your own money? Everything is fine, dear, I found myself saying, repeating the phrases I'd heard from staff and other residents. The community takes care of everything. I don't need to worry about financial details anymore. But Susan's questions planted seeds of doubt that began to grow over the following months. The fourth red flag was when I discovered that Golden Sunset Manor had been making investment decisions with residents' money without their knowledge or consent. My remaining $70,000 in savings had been moved to high-risk investments that had lost substantial value. "Market fluctuations are normal," explained Richard Thompson, Golden Sunset's financial director, when I questioned the losses. "My remaining director when I questioned the losses. That investment strategy is designed for long-term growth. Temporary setbacks are part of the process." But the temporary setbacks continued month after month, and my account balance continued to shrink. When I asked to move my money to safer investments, Richard explained that the community's financial agreements didn't allow residents to make individual investment decisions. "You signed agreements giving us investment discretion," he reminded me. "This ensures that your money is managed professionally rather than emotionally. We have fiduciary responsibility for your financial well-being." The fifth red flag was when I learned that Golden Sunset Manor had been charging my accounts for services I hadn't requested and fees that weren't clearly explained in my original contract. Healthcare coordination fees, lifestyle enhancement charges, facility improvement assessments, and administrative service costs were being deducted from my accounts monthly. When I asked for detailed explanations of these charges, the accounting office provided complex statements that were difficult to understand. "All fees are outlined in your residency agreement," explained the accounting manager. "The specific amounts may vary based on your individual service needs and community operational costs." But I couldn't find clear explanations for these charges in my contract, and the amounts seemed to increase every month. The sixth red flag was when I realized that leaving Golden Sunset Manor would be nearly impossible without losing most of my entry fee. The contract included clauses that forfeited residents' investments if they left within the first 5 years, and the complex fee structure made it difficult to determine exactly what money would be returned. "The entry fee is an investment in lifetime care," Victoria explained when I inquired about the exit policies. "If residents leave early, they forfeit the community's investment in their future care needs. It's designed to ensure a long-term commitment to the community." By my second year at Golden Sunset Manor, I had effectively become a financial prisoner. My entry fee was gone, my remaining investments had been moved to accounts I couldn't access, and leaving would mean forfeiting what little money remained. The seventh and most devastating red flag was when I discovered that Golden Sunset Manor had been systematically isolating residents from their families while draining their accounts. Family members who asked too many questions about finances or visiting policies were gradually restricted from contact with residents. "Some families become disruptive to the community environment," Victoria explained when I asked why I hadn't heard from Susan in several weeks. "When outside influences create stress for residents, we sometimes need to limit contact for everyone's well-being." I later learned that Golden Sunset had been telling my family that I was adjusting well to community life and didn't want to be disturbed by outside stresses. They had effectively cut me off from the people who might have recognized what was happening to me. The truth began to unravel when a new resident named James Morrison, a retired FBI agent, moved into the apartment next to mine. James had investigative instincts that couldn't be fooled by Golden Sunset's professional facades. "Something isn't right about this place," he told me quietly during a supervised social hour. "Financial arrangements don't make sense, and the restrictions on family contact are red flags for institutional fraud." James had been observing the community's operations with a trained eye and noticed patterns that other residents had missed. Residents who asked too many questions about their finances were often moved to different wings of the facility. Family members who became too persistent about visiting or financial oversight were told their loved ones were experiencing health issues that made visits stressful. This looks like a long-term con operation, James explained. They're systematically isolating residents, gaining control of their assets, then slowly draining the money while keeping residents comfortable enough not to complain. James had managed to document some of Golden Sunset's practices and was quietly building a case file. He discovered that the community was charging residents for services they weren't receiving, making unauthorized investments with residents' money, and using complex fee structures to hide theft. They're not stealing money quickly, he explained. They're doing it slowly and systematically, using legitimate-sounding fees and investment losses to cover the theft. By the time residents realize what's happening, they've lost everything and have no way to leave. James had also discovered that Golden Sunset Manor was part of a larger network of retirement communities operating similar schemes across multiple states. The same management company, using different names and locations, had been systematically defrauding elderly people for over a decade. This isn't just one bad retirement home, James said. This is organized crime specifically targeting the elderly. They've perfected a system for legal theft that's almost impossible to detect or prosecute. James and I began secretly documenting the community's practices and gathering evidence of financial abuse. We discovered that residents' investment accounts were being used to fund the management company's other business ventures. Resident fees were being diverted to shell companies, and the community's insurance against financial losses was actually a scheme to hide theft. The breakthrough came when James managed to access financial records that showed the true extent of Golden Sunset's fraud. The community was charging residents an average of $15,000 per month in hidden fees, while their actual care costs were less than $3,000 per month. The difference was being stolen through a complex network of subsidiary companies and offshore accounts. They've stolen over $50 million from residents across their network of communities, James revealed. Your $420,000 is just part of a massive elder fraud operation. James had contacts in federal law enforcement who specialized in financial crimes against the elderly. He secretly provided them with evidence of Golden Sunset's operations, and within weeks, FBI agents were conducting surveillance on the community. The raid happened on a Tuesday morning in March 2024. FBI agents, state investigators, and local police surrounded Golden Sunset Manor and executed search warrants for financial records, computer systems, and management offices. This is a federal investigation into systematic financial crimes against elderly residents, Agent Martinez announced as confused residents gathered in the main lobby. We believe this facility has been operating as a criminal enterprise designed to defraud its residents. The investigation revealed that Golden Sunset Manor was the centerpiece of a $50 million fraud scheme targeting elderly people across 5 states. The management company had created a network of luxury retirement communities that used sophisticated financial manipulation to systematically rob their residents. They weren't running retirement homes, Agent Martinez explained. They were running elaborate theft operations disguised as senior living facilities. The scheme worked by targeting wealthy seniors who were lonely, overwhelmed by financial management, or eager to simplify their lives. The communities would provide excellent initial care to establish trust, then gradually gain control over residents' finances through power of attorney agreements and investment management contracts. Once they had financial control, they would slowly drain residents' accounts through a combination of legitimate-seeming fees, unauthorized investments, and direct theft, the agent continued. The residents were comfortable and well cared for, so they didn't realize they were being robbed. Victoria Sterling, Richard Thompson, and 12 other Golden Sunset Manor employees were arrested on charges of conspiracy, elder abuse, money laundering, and fraud. The investigation revealed that they had been operating similar schemes for over 15 years. Recovery of stolen money has been partially successful through asset forfeiture, but most residents lost significant portions of their life savings. I recovered about $180,000 of my original $420,000 investment, enough to start over, but not enough to maintain the lifestyle I'd planned for retirement. The psychological impact has been as devastating as the financial loss. I trusted an institution that was designed to care for me, only to discover it was systematically robbing me while making me feel grateful for the theft. Institutional elder abuse is particularly devastating because victims lose not just their money, but their sense of security and trust, my therapist explained. When the very people who promise to protect you are the ones harming you, it creates deep psychological trauma. I've spent the past year rebuilding my life and my finances. I've learned that legitimate retirement communities don't require residents to surrender complete financial control, don't isolate residents from their families, and don't charge excessive hidden fees for unclear services. My message to anyone considering retirement community living is this: maintain control over your own finances, insist on transparent fee structures, and never sign agreements that isolate you from family oversight. If a community promises to handle everything for you, ask yourself why they need that much control over your life and money. Golden Sunset Manor looked like paradise, but it was actually a prison designed to trap elderly people while systematically robbing them. Some retirement dreams are nightmares in disguise, and some communities don't take care of you. They take everything from you. Don't let my $420,000 mistake become your retirement nightmare. Paradise should enhance your life, not steal it.